back in Nassau County. We got, it's a little nippy out. I think we're getting the frozen tundra tomorrow, so be ready for that. But it just reminds me, people could say the dog days of August in Florida, whatever, and not that it's always perfect. I would rather be hot than cold. I think just as someone born and raised here, it just is what it is, and so we'll see. I know it's going to be historic in other parts of the country, but we're going to be certainly in the northern part of Florida. It's going to get very, very low. So buckle up for that. We're here. We got a great announcement today. And we do have our FWC Executive Director, Roger Young. I guess, do we have Sonia Rude here, the commissioner? She was supposed to be, okay. Senator Clay Yarborough from Jacksonville. We got Trip Ochman, Coastal Conservation Association of Florida. We have Darren Willingham from the Jacksonville Offshore Fishing Club. And then we have Martha Gaius, Southeast Florida Fishing Director for America Sports Fishing Association, and two local charter captains, Captain Robert Johnson and Captain Dennis Young, both based in Northeast Florida. So I appreciate everything. You don't need me to tell anybody here that fishing and boating is a big part of the state of Florida. It's a big part of the culture of Florida. It's also a very big part of the economy of Florida. If you look at where we are in terms of the economic impact of recreational boating, we're at $31.3 billion annually. That's a 56% increase since 2018, which is a really, really big deal. And I will note, during COVID, when everyone was looking at Florida to be a refuge, you have these people that would come from different parts of the country, particularly from the northern parts, and they'd be in Florida, and it's kind of like, yeah, this is what people do. So they'd go buy boats, but they didn't know what the hell they were doing with the boats. And it's just like, you drop me as a Florida man in like the mountains of Colorado, I ain't gonna ski very well. It's just not anything I know. I don't know I don't know how to do that. And so it's kind of the thing. So, we had a real boom in purchasing boats and everything like that. We had a little bit of growing pains in terms of getting them acclimated to how you handle these vessels, particularly in South Florida. It was really, really nuts, some of the stuff that's going on. But we consistently rank #1 in America in marine expenditures and boat registrations. In fact, total number of boat registrations in 2023 surpassed 922,000 throughout the state of Florida. We also have 4 million licensed anglers, and we are known to be the #1 fishing spot in the entire United States. Now, we've done a lot to promote this, within the confines of what would appropriate policy would be. One of the things we did was the Freedom Sales Tax holiday to make sure fishing, boating, supplies, water activities, other things you would need are tax-free. I know a lot of people were able to save a lot of money by doing that. We've done that for a number of years now. We've also been able to do massive discounts on sportsman hunting and fishing licenses. We're able to issue more than 75,000 gold sportsman's licenses to folks at a really, really steep discount. We also extended the program to provide even more discounts on several fishing and hunting licenses, including our lifetime licenses. Floridians who wanted to get out and try their hand at fishing or any of our salt or fresh waters were able to purchase a combined annual fresh and saltwater combo license, for just $5. And so that's really, really low. We also enacted this year at my request a Second Amendment sales tax holiday. So that's hunting, fishing, camping, ammunition, firearms, you name it. But this holiday's in effect through the end of the year. It exempts eligible fishing supplies from sales tax, including fishing bait and tackle, tackle bags and boxes, reels and rods up to $75. And so you have till the end of the year to realize those savings. We are excited about what this means for the economy. We have obviously a lot of vacationers that come here. and this is a big part of why they do it, to be able to come and to be able to fish. So, which is great, and I'm all about our industries doing well with tourism, but I also want to make sure the Floridians are able to enjoy as much as they can too. I mean, it's not all about trying to get people to come from up north. It's this is a culture. We want to make sure we promote it. So one of the things I did when I became governor was look at this problem of the snapper seasons, the red snapper seasons. And when I got in, it was feds controlled Atlantic, and the state had been delegated the ability to manage the Gulf red snapper season. And it was the type of thing, and I remember talking to people over here in Northeast Florida many years ago. You know, there are way more fish than what the federal government tells you there are. People see it when they're out there doing it, and so I knew, and I heard that from everybody. So we went in, we worked with FWC, we have the best ability to get this data, and we said, okay, we're controlling Gulf red snapper. We know that we can have robust Gulf red snapper seasons. We know there are fish there. We know we're going to be able to do it. And sure enough, we've been able to make huge progress. So in 2024, the 7-day Gulf red snapper season with a 103-day season, and then I later extended that to 17 days for a combined 120 days. This year, we're once again able to break the record for Gulf red snapper recreational season, extending it to a total of 127 days and establishing the longest combined season that has been available for anglers in the history of state management. And we even did it over Memorial Day weekend, which people really loved that was the case. So it included Father's Day, July 4th, all these different things. We've also been able to add additional fishing days in the fall for Florida families and visitors to fish red snapper daily from September 1 to September 14th, then go to the 3-day weekends through the end of the year. This is a highly anticipated season by a lot of people throughout the state of Florida, particularly when you start talking about what we've done with Gulf red snapper. People get very excited in the Panhandle, in other parts of the Gulf Coast of Florida. And I know that there was a lot of people throughout the fishing community, period, that were happy to see it. But then people would always say, well, what about Atlantic red snapper? So if you look at, this is the Gulf, so you look at how much we've been able to increase it from the time that we've assumed management, and that's really been historic to be able to do it. So we're, you know, now look at what's happened with Atlantic red snapper. I mean, look what's happened in the past 4 years. 2 days for recreational Atlantic red snapper. Really? 1 day in 2024? Oh, 2 days in 2025. And so, you know, this is not acceptable. Now, the problem is the state had not been given to manage the Atlantic red snapper, and the fact is, under Biden, we had no chance to get anywhere. In fact, they wanted to shut it down even more and be more restrictive on what they were already being. So, but we took the same approach that we've done with the Gulf red snapper. We know that we can do this effectively, and we know that this is something that could make a big difference for our recreational anglers, particularly in Northeast Florida. And so this is something that I've spoken both with President Trump as well as Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. And the encouraging thing is they're receptive to this, and they support us being able to move ahead with what we're doing. So this summer, Secretary Lutnick rejected the Biden administration's last-ditch attempt to force sweeping closures off the course, and that was a move to finally begin the path of reversing decades of failed federal control and to open the pathway for state-led management. We've had great support for all South Atlantic state governors, congressional delegations, and attorneys generals to take decisive action and put South Atlantic red snapper management back in state hands. This includes close partnerships with governors of both Georgia and South Carolina. So we're here to announce today we have submitted this proposal, which we fully anticipate will be warmly received and properly received. We want to make a difference, and so FWC staff has submitted what's called an exempted fishing permit, EFP, to the U.S. Secretary of Commerce to allow state management of the recreational red snapper season fishery in federal waters beginning in 2026. This proposal includes a 39-day recreational season for Florida anglers and for-hire operators, the same number of days used when we took over the Gulf red snapper. So you see where we've been, then where we would go, and this is just the beginning. So it will include a two-phase season. Summer season beginning on May 22nd to kick off Memorial Day weekend through the end of June, and then a fall season running on 3-day weekends in October. This will be very significant for the local economy here. It will also be very good for folks to be able to have more recreational activities to be able to engage in, and I know a lot of people have wanted this for a long time. So I'm thankful that we have support now with the Trump administration in Washington, D.C. It's made a huge difference. I mean, you look at what we're doing on Everglades restoration. I told the president, I told all the folks, Army Corps of Engineers, Secretary of the Army, we can do these projects quicker than the federal government. So we're operating under an agreement with them. They've delegated certain projects that they were supposed to do to us. They fund it and we do it. So we're now going to be able to complete the Everglades restoration 5 years ahead of where it was under Biden. That's a huge deal. We know how to do this stuff. We want to be able to take the reins and do it. So that's been a great collaboration, and this is going to be really, really significant. And so to have the support of both the President and Secretary Ludnick is really meaningful. I know there's a lot of people throughout Northeast Florida that really have been waiting for this for a long time. And so finally, we've got a receptive audience in Washington, D.C., where we can get it done for folks. So we take pride in this announcement because we know how important it is to our state's culture and our state's economy. I want to thank FWC for all they've done to lay the groundwork for this day. This was something, you know, as soon as shortly after January 20th. I mean, I think I met with Secretary Ludnick the day he was confirmed to be Commerce Secretary, and this wasn't the only thing on the agenda. You know, we're talking about the census too, because we got shortchanged in the census from this decade, and they say, oh well, Trump was president in 2020. Yeah, but then Biden came in, he issued a bunch of executive orders, and then how they applied that data only gave Florida 1 seat, where we are anticipating 2 seats in Congress. Texas should have had 3, they had 2. So that was a big thing that we dealt with the Department of Commerce on, and I don't know what they're going to do. I know there's a lawsuit, I know there's this, I know there's that, but big issue. But then as we're talking about that, as important as that is, I know it's important to a lot of people, we're also there talking about Atlantic red snapper, because we know that it's important for a lot of people. So it's good to see, you know, those discussions bearing fruit. We will submit this, we'll get a positive response, and then it'll just be off to the races. And what'll happen is it's going to be like this, I would anticipate. You know, the population of Gulf red snapper is like incredibly healthy, and these are federal bureaucrats were telling us that they're not going to be enough fish, right? And now you see what's happened, and this has been a real boon for folks on the Gulf Coast of Florida. So thank you for everybody that's been involved, and we'll hear from some of our speakers. And so I think we will begin. Let's see, we've got FWC Executive Director Roger Young that we're going to hear from 2 of our fishing captains.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It is an honor to be here. What a beautiful day to have such a great announcement. And I would be remiss if I didn't start by thanking our governor for his leadership, his unwavering leadership. Yes. Governor, your unwavering leadership and tireless commitment to protect every Florida's anglers right to fish in the state of Florida is what leadership is all about. And it's the right to fish on both coasts across the state of Florida for future generations, and it's exciting. And it's what the fight is all about. It's about the experience of our families to go out and go fishing together for red snapper and other reef fish across the state, so they can make those memories and have those experiences with one another that they'll remember for generations to come. That's really woven into the fabric of our culture here in the state of Florida, and we appreciate your leadership from the very top. We are thrilled to submit this bold proposal for a record 39-day recreational season in Florida's Atlantic waters. It's a huge win for our anglers, a huge win for our communities, and a huge win for our coast here in Florida. Florida stands ready to lead. We are continued to manage the recreational Atlantic red snapper fishery. We have world-class fishery management experts and scientists prepared to deliver on this for Floridians and visitors. You know, the proven results speak for themselves, like you see on these charts. It's been 7 years since we took over and successfully managed the private recreational red snapper in the Gulf of America, expanding the access for anglers, turning a 3-day season into a 120-day season in 2025, and that's just so incredible and impressive. Our state reef fish survey is the gold standard for tracking red snapper harvest in the Gulf, delivering faster, sharper, and more reliable data compared to the federal MRIP program. We've been proven in the Gulf that it works and it's been successful. The framework is ready, and now is the time in Florida when we are fully prepared to take control of Atlantic red snapper management. So thank you, Governor DeSantis, and thank you for all our partners that have supported this from the very beginning. We appreciate your unwavering leadership and your tireless dedication to keeping Florida the undisputed fishing capital of the world. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, Captain Johnson.
Thank you, Governor. I mean, you've been working on this since you were my congressman. Great job. Great job. It's a great day for Florida, for Northeast Florida. I fully support this move, this exempted fishing permit. I know a lot about the federal end of things, and I can tell you that what they were doing isn't working. The assessment model they use needs to be really done away with. It relies too much on MRIP data. It doesn't use sound science. The best example of that is a 2-day season. Florida has proven that they have the ability to do this. The management of red snapper was again extended in the Gulf, and you already touched on the director touched on the state reef fish survey. These people are great. I work with them. They've been on my boats. They're able to provide accurate, sound data, which is what's missing on the federal level. The state leads the way with management as far as being responsive. It allows for adaptive adjustments in season. They can align regulations with the actual conditions rather than an outdated forecast. We need to I'm at a loss of words. I've been involved in this so long. I've been beating my head against the wall for 10 years or longer, and it's so frustrating. And I'm not even looking at my notes anymore. It's just so frustrating to be under a system that you know is fatally flawed. The MREP data, as you were saying, it is not accurate at all. It relies on estimates of estimates of estimates. And, you know, that's not science. Estimates are not science. The bottom line is Florida anglers, scientists, and the coastal communities overwhelmingly support this. This transition protects the future of Florida's small businesses and charter fishing opportunities. I've got kids. I want them to have the same opportunities that I've had. Bait and tackle shops, fuel docks, not only myself as a charter operator, we all stand to benefit from this. I fully support it. I can't thank you enough. I really can't. It's a great day. Thank you.
Okay, Captain Dennis Young.
Retired Navy.
All right.
I got you. I'm Captain Dennis Young with Sea Dancer Charters in Jacksonville, Florida. I've been in the business for over 50 years. I've been in the snapper fishery for over 62 years. I've watched the fishery go from the best it was to the worst it is, or was, to where it is now. I've seen a steady progression in the last 20 years. There's been a steady progression up in the snapper population. My business with the federal fishery started in 1987 in Jacksonville, Florida. We had 3 members come to our meeting. There were 4 boat captains that showed up out of the entire population of Jacksonville. In the meeting, we told the federal fisheries that the snapper size limit was set at 12 inches. How can you have a reproductive stock at 12 inches? It won't happen. So the stock was depreciating significantly. 5 years later, they finally gave in and gave us a 20-inch size limit snapper limit. And in 2 years, and it's progressed up to 2. We're catching too many snapper, and we're going like, what the heck are you talking about? Okay. On the charter boats, okay? And that fishery shut it down. It's like the world stopped financially for the county. Nobody wanted to go fishing. Why go out in the boat and not be able to bring the fish back home? Boat services, outboard motor sales, fuel sales, hotel rentals, the whole thing just added up over time. And then they did a survey for Jacksonville, Florida, economic impact survey, and they went to the smallest community there, was Mayport, Florida. And it showed a $1 million loss or impact for that area. That didn't cover anything that Jacksonville had, nowhere near. So it made it look like we're just a small community and wasn't much of a loss, okay? So we kept fighting them, and we're here today, we're here where we are now. And a few months ago, I met with Conlon from the Rutherford, the Jacksonville Offshore Fishing Club, and I recommended to them that we go to a different system. There's a lady sitting right over here, Jennifer, from the FWC, okay, and her group have been doing research for the last couple of years on our boats, and they're finding out the data we needed to have as far as age, the location of the fish, the population, and everything else. And they're showing the data that we need to see instead of the estimates that we talked about earlier. Our fishery is in good shape, guys. When you can go out and anchor down on a boat and have 20 red snapper come up and bite your boat hooks at the boat, something's going on. Okay? I recommended also to the offshore club just recently that we go to a 2-season side and one after reproduction side. Normally July is our reproductive cycle for the snapper. So I think we just saw that happen here. Where we just said we're going to have a season before and a season after. I thank you for that. And one of the reasons, I'm 80 years old. I'm looking for the future for my kids, excuse me, and your kids and their futures and the more. It's important to us that this happens. Excuse me. When I was a kid and I first came up, my first fishing trip with my grandfather, 8 years old, he took me to the west end of Cuba for 2 weeks. And from there to Yucatan Peninsula and back. He messed me up. He did. So I want my kids and great-grandkids to have that same experience. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Now, it's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people, and you know that's the thing. It's like, and we talk about the economic impact, which is important, and obviously when you look at some of the the towns. I was stationed at Mayport, so I remember, you go, they have these seafood shacks right there by the base, and then you could get on the ferry. But I mean, amazing stuff they're bringing in. They used to do a lot of sheep's head. I'm sure they still do that. Really good stuff. And so that's real. But the memories of taking your kid, your grandkids out, that's really significant. And now people are going to have more opportunities to be able to do that up here in Northeast Florida as a result of the action that we're taking. We want to be aggressive on this. Once this is improved, we'll obviously do it. But I think the goal is, and here's the thing, like, you talk to these guys that run these boats, they say there's all these fish there. They have no incentive to want it to be totally depleted, because then they don't have anything, to catch at that point. So they're not saying that willy-nilly. I mean, the reality is that's the case. So I think you're going to see continue, and I think it's going to mirror this, where you're going to have really healthy population, and you're going to be able to keep expanding from here. Now, this is a major deal. This has been a long time coming. We're proud of this, but we're not satisfied with this. Okay, do we got any questions? All right, stay warm tomorrow, guys. It's going to be a cold one.